we're so silly. Okay,
I
well,
feel like Jane was in the back of my head right there.
maybe a little bit. I missed that. I missed that from the retreat. Like, I didn't think I would miss it at the beginning because I was like, who are all these crazy people dancing everywhere? I
Yeah.
can't get behind this yet. Like, I was
Yeah.
totally uncomfortable with it because I was just not comfortable yet. And
Right.
by the end, I was like, this is the last dance party. Oh my God.
I know, it was so bittersweet. It was
It
sad. It
was.
was a sad moment.
I got a bunch of little videos of the dance parties.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I feel like that's really the only thing I got video of during the whole retreat because we were just so busy the whole time that
Yeah.
it was just little
Yeah.
dance parties and little breaks and stuff when we stopped.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we don't have a name yet.
Podcast.
Podcast number 1.
What are some of the things? Shoot, we don't have a name.
Well, we'll have to get people to suggest names for us because we don't like have one really for what
Yes.
we're doing. But what are we doing here?
Taking
So
requests. We've got comments.
what are we doing here? So I guess since we don't really have a good intro yet, we're just here helping people navigate this whole food plant-based world that we're living in, really.
Yes. We're not experts. We're just your neighborhood support system.
And that's really our goal, is just to offer people a place to go for support and a welcoming community of like-minded people. And we can kind of hash out the struggles and find solutions and team up to get this done.
For sure. Yes.
Definitely.
Exactly. We can show how easy, affordable, and
Simple.
convenient it is to
Yeah.
have a plant-based lifestyle.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And I love potatoes.
Yeah. Those are great. I just had some. I actually just had some because, at a happy hour, French fries sitting there. I was like, wow, these French fries look really good, but I actually have potatoes in my fridge. Let me just go home and eat those. They're better for me. So
there you go. that had to have been so tough to have the fries sitting in front of you. I put fries on my salad for dinner.
Oh, nice.
I was working all day and I tend to forget to eat during the day when I have like a really busy day. And I had a banana and some grapes and that's it. And I got home and then I wasn't busy. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm starving. What did I just do? So I made a baby kale and veggie salad with a bunch of air fried fries on top with some vegan ranch and barbecue sauce.
Like everything but the kitchen sink right there.
Pretty much. I just threw all the veggies in a bowl with some ranch dressing and barbecue sauce and potatoes and went, this will do. This is good enough.
Yum.
So, definitely.
Well, shoot. So yeah. So we're here. We're here to talk about all the things because we did a retreat together. That's how you and I met. And oh yes, we've got the retreat.
There it is. There it is. We're messing with all the little gadgets that make this fun. So Plantstrong Retreat, Black Mountain 2023. That was an absolutely awesome trip. And I can't believe that we are 2 weeks post return home. Like I feel like, so I signed up for that retreat as soon as it like launched, as soon as it was on the website and you could sign up. I was bugging them because I knew it was coming and I'd sent them an email. I'm like, when can we sign up?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was their first impression of me, as I was like the weirdo being like, can you please do this now?
That is awesome. And John responded?
Yes, he did.
Yes. Yep.
And so I signed up as soon as possible. I think it was like November. It was like October or November, I think, that it like went live. And I had been looking forward to it since then. So I feel like the anticipation really like led up to this like huge thing. And I was just so happy to be there. And then it was over.
I know.
What was your favorite part?
Oh my gosh. My favorite part. Honestly, I think my favorite part was eating with everybody. Like it was actually kind of like going in, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of thought, oh gosh, we're we're just going to eat and we're going to watch cooking demos. Like I thought I wanted to cook, right? Because I'm so used to cooking at home. Like I want to have a hands-on experience. Oh my gosh. Not having to cook and eating all the food that like you didn't have to worry about. And then also sitting and mingling with people, like talking about, whatever it is they want to talk about or you want to talk with them about. It was the best thing.
I think that was one of the big surprises for me is how much of and I don't really cook that much at home. Like my husband does most of the cooking, but I still have
Lucky.
to think about like what am I going to eat, or like you go out to dinner somewhere and you have to be really like conscious of what you're ordering or what's in stuff, and it's a lot of work
Yeah.
and stuff just to make the decision about what you're going to eat and make sure it's like compliant with
Yeah.
the way you're eating. And to be able to go to that retreat and just relax and talk to people who were on similar journeys and had similar goals, and then
Mhm.
not have to worry, like everything that was there was fair game.
Yep.
Like that
Yep.
was, I
Yeah.
haven't been as happy as I was at that retreat in a very, very long time. Like I don't remember the last time I was that happy.
Right? I
So
know. Like I came back and everyone was like, "So how was your trip?" I'm like, "It was like the best time ever." It was like because it wasn't just a food retreat, like we say plant strong and like yes, it was a plant strong retreat. It was a lot about our lifestyle and like how we eat and what that might do to us, like do to our
the
body.
education.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but it was more than that. It was like really that community feel and that support system and, doing some athletic things that maybe you haven't done before, right? Like there was pickleball and hiking and all kinds of things. And so it was like a little bit of like challenge, but like community support. It was just so fun. Yeah, it was like one of the best times. And
Yeah.
you had a chance to be free and be yourself. And that's what I really enjoyed too.
Yeah, I didn't really like hold back. Like I was so excited to be there that like I was kind of worried that I was going to come off as like, the crazy over exuberant person because I was just
Yeah.
so excited. Um, but I feel like we made so many new friends
Yeah.
there.
I mean, you
And
might have been the crazy exuberant person day one when you met Rip. Your
maybe a little bit.
sister was really
Maybe.
yeah.
So I was really excited. Like,
Yeah.
so I read Rip's book in 2008, 2009. I forget exactly when it came out, but I read his book then because a friend recommended it. And so to me, in my head, he has been this celebrity. Jack, now is not the time, bud.
He's thirsty.
He chose now. Like he just drank an entire bucket of water and he chose now. Um, but yeah, to me, for so long, Rip has been like this celebrity figure of like, this is the goal I want to live up to. Like,
Mhm.
these are the people who have really succeeded at this. Sorry, the dog keeps knocking my cord.
Jack.
But like I've admired them and looked up to them for so long
Yeah.
that like getting to meet them was kind of a surreal moment.
Mhm.
And then just like getting to hang out with them for a week. I was a little bit better by the end of the week. But
Yeah.
like,
I'll give you that. And then Sarah became the crazy person. She wanted the pictures after.
yeah, I think she finally like she didn't like go crazy about like, oh my god, it's the Esselsteins. Like I did. But I feel like it really kicked in for her at the end, like how good she was feeling, and the science behind it is really important to her because she's a nurse,
Yep. Yep.
and I think it really just started making sense for her towards the end, and like understanding not just, do this to lose weight, but like do this to be healthy. And here's why. Here's what
Mhm.
it's doing inside your body. And
Yep.
that was kind of the wake up call, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, she liked it a lot better at the end. It was a little, and she's really introverted, so it was a lot for her to take. It was very, very high energy, especially that first day, getting used to
Yeah,
all that energy. I
it
mean, that was
sure
a lot
was.
for me.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was a lot for me too.
I've never met someone with more energy than Jane.
No way.
Like, oh
No
my gosh.
way.
To have that kind of energy and, like, that presence,
Right. It's
like,
amazing.
envy.
Yeah,
Envious.
right? It
Totally.
almost like it was a weird thing because you're right. I mean, it almost made me feel insecure at first, right? And I'll be honest, like I was like, these are like the awkward moments when I'm like, oh, okay, I could have a drink or, have something to kind of loosen myself up. But the cool thing about that is that it just took maybe a day, like you said, to adjust and then get over that hump. And then we all became a part of it. And it was like just a fun, like you either laugh it off. I mean, I wasn't saying I was dancing around the room day two, but like, you know, you still were working through that uncomfortable feeling that maybe didn't have before.
Yeah. Like, well, I feel like a lot of people deal with their own insecurities in that kind of environment. Like, are people like, am I going to start dancing with everybody else and then they're going to judge me and I look horrible and,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and it was the most judgment-free zone
Yep.
I've ever been in. Like,
Yeah.
Planet Fitness has nothing on this,
No
like,
way.
it was a
No.
joke. But but, like, I mean, everyone was so truly accepting and welcoming of everyone else,
Yeah.
and that was a really unique environment to be in.
Yeah.
So, I think that was
Yeah.
one of my favorite things is you could just get to know people, like, no judgment.
Yep.
Like, people were
Yeah.
just open and, everything was so easy. You just
Yeah.
started talking to people.
It was great. And it was like you know, all different age groups, women, men, children maybe. No, not really children, but
Well,
like
like, late teens, early 20s, there were a couple of
yeah,
them.
there
Yeah,
yeah, there were. There were.
yeah.
So,
Most of them came with their parents, but,
yes. Yes.
yeah,
That's
no,
very true.
it was awesome.
And
I loved
just
hiking. I loved learning to play pickleball. I
yes.
didn't think I was gonna do that because I have bad knees, and I was like, "I'm gonna twist my knee or roll an ankle or something. I'm gonna look like a fool doing this."
Yeah.
And I remember the first day I went to do that because, like, we had, uh, for those who haven't been there, you have the education in the morning section, and then there's like a segment for, go partake in
Free
an event,
time.
like go do
Yeah.
something. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go watch because I had no idea what it was or what was gonna happen. And I was like, I'm just gonna like, be on the sidelines, just kind of like watch everybody. And then I go in there and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hide here by the wall. And Rip was like, you're in, let's go. What? And
Ah,
so I learned to play.
that's
So
great.
that was cool.
Like
And then I tend to get really competitive, even though I probably shouldn't. And then I was like, I'm gonna get the ball. But
did you
I I won a little bit, just a little bit.
well, and Kryle even captured you on video. I saw that one
I
day.
saw that too. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and
me.
you
That's
looked
me."
like you were a professional, pickleball player.
They aren't as fat as me. Um, I don't
You're
know, are
getting
are
there.
there
You're
are
getting
there
there.
professional pickleball
I
players?
don't even know. I haven't even watched.
I mean, like, I feel like it's probably something Rip would do really well at, like, maybe he should be a professional pickleball player, like,
Well, that's not fair. He was like a triathlete or whatever,
I mean,
like,
he's
no.
gone the pro sports route before, maybe in, his golden years or whatever, he can play
Yeah,
pickleball.
I
Like,
don't
he's
know.
gonna be, like, 80 years old and, like, kicking people's butts at pickleball, like, that's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
Well, maybe that's goals one day.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Well,
But
you mentioned something, Christina, about like when you get back home, like being at the retreat, you didn't have to worry at all about like um, what you were going to order and things like that.
mhm.
One of the things that my mom and I were kind of talking about, because my mom and I both went to the retreat, was how do you order at a restaurant? And I think that is where, like, there was a small group at one of the days at the retreat where we kind of talked about, having a card when you go to a restaurant that says, like, I can't have this, this, and this, and you just hand it off to the server, and then they'll have that note. I feel like that should be normalized, because I have the hardest time ordering food without feeling uncomfortable about it. Like, when you're in a big group, it's like, so recently, which I'm glad you changed this to struggle since the retreat. Recently, I've gone out to dinner or lunches or whatever with coworkers, and I'm just thinking in my head, I'm just going to shoot for the moon. Like, I'm just going to say no oil, vegan, no oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see what happens. And if they come back with vegan and oil, like, at least I tried to say no oil or minimal oil. And you can only do so much. But then I've had people say, well, wait, seriously, no oil too? What do you even eat? And I'm like, well, I'm doing this because do you know how much fat is in oil? Or I should take
It's yeah,
someone said,
it's hard to like you can't really it's so hard to explain why you're not eating oil.
yeah.
That is so hard. Yeah. Sorry, I
Well,
interrupted you. Go ahead.
no, you're good. You're good, because someone at the retreat, and I don't know if she'd want me, see these darn AirPods. All right, we're getting a microphone and like new audio. But the people at the one of the our friends at the retreat, she said that I'm allergic to oil. And then when somebody asks, what how are you even allergic to oil? And then, or what happens when you eat oil? And then she said, well, I break out in fat, or I break out in hot, like, yeah, I break out in fat. So, like, instead of hives, she breaks out in fat. And it's true, because there's so many
It's
calories to the
it's
oil,
true. It's
right?
true. Like, so I really don't go out to eat much because that is a huge struggle. Like, how do you order anything? And if you go to any restaurant, even if they do have vegan options, most of it is just drenched in some
So
kind of
much.
oil.
Yeah.
And it's really the only thing you can get ends up being like a side salad.
Yeah.
And you're like, can I have like a side salad and like some avocado with it? And you can like mash your avocado up and put that on your salad for like a
Yeah.
little bit of like you can kind of use that as a dressing if they have a good avocado. Sometimes they don't.
Right.
Crunchy
Yeah.
avocado is just not fun at a restaurant,
Oh,
I'm saying.
no.
But like it's definitely a struggle. And while I approve of the card idea, I think that would be great. A lot of restaurants just don't have the option. So much stuff is
True.
pre-made and already pre-oiled, and it's so hard. It's so
Yeah.
hard. Um, there is a restaurant near me. One of my friends is the bartender there. So we'll go up and hang out with him while he's working and, you know, have dinner.
Yeah.
And I have been able it's an Italian restaurant, so they have pasta, but they add oil to the water when they're making pasta.
Mm,
So, I mean, it's in it from the get-go.
yeah.
Um, but I have been able to get them to make me a baked potato with no oil. In
Nice.
most restaurants, if you ask for just a baked potato, they cover it in oil first before they bake it
Yeah.
because they don't want it to dry out.
Yep.
I'm like, "Give me the dry potato. I'll fix that with
Yeah.
ketchup," you know?
Yeah. I'll chew
Uh,
it.
yeah, it'll be fine. Just give me the dry baked potato. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that took a little bit of convincing, but most places will accommodate.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's the option of like calling ahead and, "Hey, I'm coming in there. Can I get like a large salad that's just vegetables, no dressing?" I have brought my own salad dressing
Have
to
you?
a restaurant before. I got the little it's plastic, so don't hate me for having plastic, but the little like 2 tablespoon
Yes.
cups that they have, salad dressing to go in at restaurants, I ordered them off Amazon, and
Oh,
I will
wow.
make my own salad dressing and put like 2 or 3 of those in my purse with me and just bring it to the restaurant.
That's smart. So then do you just end up leaving the cup there?
Mhm.
Is it the dispose? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's just
smart.
yep.
That's a good idea. Um, Funny you mentioned the plastic. I want to touch on that too because I've had an issue with Tupperware lately. Um,
Do you have, like, legit Tupperware, or is it, like, Rubbermaid?
so I have Rubbermaid, but then I've been having these issues where for some reason now that I'm not like I don't have oil in my food, like I can taste my food so much more.
Mhm.
I'm tasting detergent out of my dishwasher in the plastic Tupperware.
Yes.
Are
Okay.
you too?
Well, like, so I don't get, like, the Rubbermaid containers. I end up getting like, I buy bulk containers from Amazon, like
Yeah,
the food prep
yeah,
containers, and when we put them through we try to hand wash most things, by we, I mean my husband, he's great at doing dishes. He's a saint.
that's
But
amazing.
hand washes most everything so it doesn't build up, but every once in a while, we'll just throw it gets crazy, and we throw everything in the dishwasher,
Yeah,
and they're black containers, so when that soap residue kinda builds up,
yeah,
you can see it on the container, and yes, I don't use those ones. Like, you can sit there and, like, scratch it off and, like, try to
yeah, yeah,
clean it off, and
yep,
it's just not the same. I just don't use those containers, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. So I just started trying glass, and glass is good. It's just we'll see how it goes. It's only been like three
Glass is so
days.
expensive. Like, I looked at getting them, and I
It's
was like, 1, I'm
heavy.
gonna lose these.
It's
2,
hard to put
something's gonna
away.
break, and then they're expensive, and there aren't enough
Yeah,
of them. So, like, the only way I get through my week right now is food prepping, and I'm not a super adventurous food prepper. Um, the the best way I can explain it is, like, for 3 days, I'll just pick, like, 1 or 2 meals, and I'll make a ton of that,
yeah,
and, like, I have my oats in the morning, and then one of these 2 meals for breakfast or for lunch and dinner, and
that's
that's
good.
pretty much it. So, we made chili, um,
Mm.
in the Plant-Based Woman Warrior cookbook. We made Brian's chili. Hey, hon, can you hand me the cookbook?
It's like Brian's favorite chili.
Oh,
Oh,
he
look it.
he
There's
got
your
mine
chef.
in the food containers that I use.
Your chef and dishwasher. And
Right?
look
There
at he's
he
even
is.
being your assistant. Hi.
Always your assistant.
He is. So this is the Brian's red bean chili, and I'm gonna like cover the actual
Oh yeah,
recipe
look at that.
for copyright purposes or whatever. But I
That
made
looks
that, and
so
we
good.
made a double batch. And um, you know, I actually so just for curiosity, the other night we priced it all out and figured out how many servings we got. So like we fill up one of these to like, you know, here with chili.
Yeah,
He measured that he weighs them on a scale. They're 12 ounces each.
I love it. I
I
love
don't
it.
have that kind of patience. I'm like, looks good. He's over there with a kitchen scale, like measuring things out. Uh,
Oh, that's great.
but so we did the math and we spent like 18 bucks on, you know, the zucchini and squash and, you know, onions and peppers and mushrooms and all like all this stuff is in it. It's like mostly
So many,
veggies and
yeah.
this chili. It's great. 18 bucks. We got 19
19 servings.
or 21.
19.
Nine,
Or wait. No, 19.
19. We got 19 servings
Wow.
of it. So it was like just under $1 a serving.
Yeah. So you like went to like your own like drive up dollar restaurant or something and you just pulled it out of the
Like here's
fridge.
your dollar menu
It's
right
great.
there. Yeah. Yeah. And it's all good for you and it's so filling. Good
That is
lord.
great.
No,
Oh my
chili is one of my
gosh.
favorites, and that particular recipe calls for some barbecue sauce. Like there's like a small amount of barbecue sauce in it, and we found this one because like it's hard to find condiments that aren't just like terrible. And at the retreat, we went over like how to read the label and you know what you're looking for and all that. Um, and my main goal in looking for barbecue sauce is just to find something that has natural ingredients in it, like, you know, maple syrup or, you know, brown sugar as a sweetener or molasses or whatever it happens to
Yeah.
be. and not just like high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
So we spent some time looking for barbecue sauces, and we found one called Rufus Teague's. They also have an awesome bottle. Do we still have that bottle? I did not just use it. I used the other one. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm looking it up too to see if maybe we can pull up a picture.
really cool looking bottle, so worth saving the bottle. I'm just saying. And I think this might be the best barbecue sauce I've ever had.
Really?
Like the best barbecue sauce I've ever had. And it was like a quarter cup in this giant pot of chili. And it just transformed. Like the whole flavor profile was just
Oh my
unreal.
gosh.
I used it, but I put it in the door upside down. It wasn't the right shape. He couldn't find it.
Let's see. I just pulled it up too.
Whoa. We got this a week ago, and we have used almost all of it. Like it's in the fridge upside down. We also made 2 double batches of chili.
That's great.
So my dad loves the chili, and honestly, it's the only way we can get vegetables into him because he will just eat beans and rice all the time. And I'm like, you need vegetables. You need the vegetables. So in this, it's almost nothing but vegetables plus some beans and tomatoes and stuff. So
sounds like a fully robust meal. You know,
oh my God, it's amazing. I could just go on
areas.
and on about this chili. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome. We need to bring Brian on to make that chili for us.
We could link the video. Like they probably made a video of making it. We could link it in like the description box below.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Super awesome.
Well, good. Yeah, so you mentioned like how it's your dad, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things, because it's been hard for me, like incorporating all the right vegetables, I feel like I used to like eat a salad or something and think I'm getting like, my lettuce, my cucumber, tomato, carrots, whatever. But I wasn't getting my greens really. I wasn't getting like spinach or kale or any of that like good stuff. And one of the things at the retreat that like really has been an exciting thing is I used to love savory breakfast. And I would always get like, the tofu scramble from Amy's or, different things that I could find just easy grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
But they were always like, 400 calories and they didn't fill me up and I'd always want something more. And so now, because of the retreat, they always told us, eat your greens. And so some people would mix their greens in with their oatmeal, or some people would eat the greens off on the side. I would eat the greens on the side, and that curbed my savory, cravings in the morning. And then I ate this massive bowl of oatmeal at the end. So it's almost like I get my like savory and then my dessert. And
see, I was the exact opposite. Like I prefer the sweet things for breakfast. Yeah. Like back when I ate the animal foods, I would do the whole breakfast for dinner thing. And it was always like an omelet or something like that, Yeah. And if I was having breakfast in the morning, I wanted like pancakes or cereal or something like that. Like I wanted the sweet in the morning, and I've always been like that.
Yeah.
But what I got at the retreat, because again, as you said, greens with every meal, right?
Yep.
I would put it in my oatmeal. Because like I tried the first day, just like eating it on the side, and I felt like I was just like gagging down, piles of greens. Like I just have to eat this first.
With nutritional yeast on it, the fish food.
The fish food.
Did you put the fish food on it?
The nutritional yeast? I did on like the first day or two, and then I was like, nope, not having it. So I would put it in there, and I'd get some oatmeal and some of the Rips Big Bowl cereal, and I just put soy milk on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd eat it along with the cereal, and it was fine.
And
with a ton of fruit also. But when I got home, the way I translated that over, because I'm just not going to make a bunch of greens in the morning. I'm not. But what I did was I got a bunch of baby kale, because I feel like regular kale is just too intense of a flavor
Oh,
for me.
yes. The
So I got the
texture is
baby
different.
kale and I chopped it up super, super little. I think Lisa did this. I think that's who told me
Yeah.
to do this. But she chopped it up really, really little and cooked it with her oatmeal. So I tried that. And so I chopped it all up, put it in with like a half a cup of like rolled oats and like a cup and a half of water. And I just cooked the crap out of that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
with like a little bit of cinnamon. And one, it bulks up the meal. So it's like a lot more food.
Yeah.
But you can also barely taste the greens in there. Like you get it, but you're not like, oh my God, I'm eating kale for breakfast, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I
Huh.
loaded that with fruit.
All right, I need to try that. That's my challenge for the next week. I need to try that because I have been getting up every morning and I've got my like little pan for my spinach and I'll put it on the stove and then I'll clean it up after, and it's just like, oh, every single morning to do that. It's just built in like a whole nother 30 minutes in my routine, just from like cleanup to cooking to all the things.
I just totally almost knocked my computer over. We're fine.
It
We're
wasn't
fine.
even Jack.
It wasn't. It was just me being clumsy. That's my bad. My bad.
Oh man. So yeah. Well, yeah, I think yeah, those have been some struggles. I think you mentioned, going to a restaurant and how it's hard to go to a restaurant. One of the things that like right after the retreat. So, it was almost like opening my eyes to everything after being in the retreat for a full week, right?
Yeah.
And I saw all the McDonald's and all the Wendy's and all the Taco Bells and like all the things. And it's just like branding overload, right? It's like everything in your face all at once. It's like, consumer, come at me right now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was like really eye-opening to me. It wasn't necessarily a struggle because I've been vegan before this retreat, but now it's just a matter of like cleaning up the way that I've been, and eating more whole food, plant-based. So then we ended up, because the retreat was in North Carolina, we went to the Biltmore just for a day to see it. My mom hadn't been there before. And it was like, where do we eat? I mean, I feel like everyone should have known there was a plant-based retreat happening because it was so hard to find something. We couldn't even find a baked potato, Christina. Like, there wasn't a baked potato in sight.
Like, were there grocery stores? Because like I would have hit up like the produce section at a grocery store and just gotten some apples or something.
There were. We didn't have
Or
a
like
car.
you'd like to think that, but then you drive by the McDonald's and you're like,
It's just so much easier. We were in a car. We didn't have a car, and we were at the Biltmore, so it takes like 30 minutes in and 30 minutes out. So it was just like, it was too much of a struggle to have done that. But yes, normally I would have gone to just a grocery store. But what we did is we got really creative. And we went to one restaurant that had a salad, no dairy, no anything. And then I think they even had balsamic that didn't have like egg or dairy in it. And so we got the salad there. And then I went and I looked at another restaurant and they didn't have a baked potato, but they had farro in one of their meals.
nice.
And so I was like, you know what, Mom? We're just going to walk in and see if there's any farro that they can just give us as a side, you know?
Yeah.
And it was really awkward asking, but I walked in and I said, can we have 2 sides of farro? They were like, they had to check at first because they were like, this is the weirdest request, but it worked. And we were leaving that day. Yes. So we were leaving that day on a plane, and that was like our meal for the plane because the airport was really tiny in Asheville. And so like we had our salad, we put farro on top, and we had it made.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we took, like, when Sarah and I left, we just drove home. It was like an 8-hour drive and we just drove home.
Yeah.
So like we took the little boxes, like the little box lunch things, that they made for us, and we kind of snacked on that a little bit, like when we got hungry. But other than that, I didn't eat a thing until I got home, because like I didn't even want to stop at a gas station unless I had to, because I was like, I don't want to mess this up.
Right.
Like we've had this week of perfection,
Yes.
and I don't want to screw up right out the gate. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep. I
So
definitely know what you mean.
for me, I feel like there was such a huge fear behind, okay, now I have to do it on my own, which is silly because I've been doing this on my own since January of last year. Like
Yep.
that's when I've been playing with, like I've been on and off vegan since
Yep.
about 2008, 2009. But my last real go started in January of 22.
Mhm.
So like I should know how to do this. I shouldn't feel the anxiety behind it, but like I felt like I had literally been perfect for a whole
Yes.
week. And
Yes.
like there's a lot of responsibility in that.
There
Like
sure is.
there's a weight on you, like
Yes.
I can't mess this up.
Yes.
This was like the experience of a lifetime. I can't mess this up. So I just didn't eat till we got home. And then we had messaged my husband before we left, and we sent him pictures of like that binder that Jane put together with
Yes.
like, the recipes and stuff. We sent him pictures of those recipes, and we're like, can you make this for dinner?
I
So
wondered how you
we get
lucked out with
ready, and
that.
he had food ready, and we were like,
That's
yes.
great.
It was great.
Yes.
It was
'Cause
great.
you had the potatoes, right?
Yeah, like the armadillo potatoes. I'm surprised you remembered.
Yes.
But we had that, and we
And the soup.
had the soup.
Yes.
Yes.
Yum.
And the soup was from the Plant-Based Woman Warrior cookbook. The new Senate soup. What page was that on? I don't know either.
It usually falls open to it.
So how does your husband, now that he's, been eating this way, has he always been open to this?
The new Senate soup.
Nice.
Check that. It's
That
great.
looks so good. What's
New
in there?
Senate.
We've got is there kale
So
in there? Some beans?
we've got, here's the cover in case anyone needs it. So we've got navy beans, veggie stock, potatoes, celery, onions, bell pepper, black beans, kale. We never use kale. We use like frozen chopped spinach because he hates kale.
Even the baby kale?
Yep.
Even the baby.
I hear him in the background.
He's
That's
participating.
amazing.
He's participating.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, and that and like some seasonings and stuff. That's all it is, but it's so good. Like it smells like when it's cooking in the house, it smells like stuffing on Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it smells like. It's great.
Oh my gosh. Yum.
But my sister really wanted to try that one. So we made both. We had potatoes and soup.
That sounds so good.
It was awesome. It was awesome. But I wanted to talk about one more thing while we were here.
Yes.
Building habits.
Ooh.
So I was listening to another podcast today, and there was a lot of talk about this, and it really hit me. And I was like, we should talk about this because this makes sense,
Yeah.
And one of the things they were talking about was starting with such small steps. Like if you have a goal of wanting to start running in the morning, for example, not that I do, I'm just saying. You don't have to start by going out for a run. Like sometimes getting started is the biggest step, like just getting out the door. And if that's all you can start with at the beginning, that's fine. You don't need to beat yourself up about it. You don't need to go run 10 miles to start out with. Sometimes you just need to go through the action of getting up, putting your shoes on, and going out the door.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do at first. Like walk out the door, go back inside, and get ready for work or whatever you're doing. But you took that first step. And that's the beginning of building that habit of getting up and going for your run is taking the first step out the door. So for the first week, you're just getting up, putting your shoes on and going out the door, and that's all you do. Fine. But that's what you have to do anyway. Like
Yep.
if you're going to run 10 miles, you're still having to start with that. So start with that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing with what you're eating. If it's progress over perfection, right? Like we can't all be perfect and we can't hold ourselves to that standard. But if you want to start building habits that are going to last and that are going to make this lifestyle work for you long term, you don't have to be perfect at first. You just have to start building those habits. So like if you want to have greens with breakfast, you don't have to have a ton of greens with breakfast. Like grab 2 or 3 leaves of baby spinach from the fridge and pop that in your mouth while you're making your cereal. And you start having greens for breakfast. And it's something to build from, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like,
That's a really good point. And not to be hard on yourself, right?
yeah.
Like I feel like for me, so back in 2020, I got a Peloton bike. And from the beginning, I was like riding that bike like every single day. And then the one day that I fell off, like let's say, you know, I was sick or something, or, you know, I felt so bad about myself. Like I was like, you need to get back on that bike. But then when I got back on the bike, it was like, it took me time to build up to that 30-minute ride or 45-minute ride. But then in my head, I was like, you're at least doing this. Like, do 10 minutes. That's all you need. Like, you're
Yeah.
at least getting on the bike again. And I think, you know, even being in Black Mountain for that week, I've went on the bike one time since we've been back. And it's just like, but at least like I've walked or I've done all these other things. Like, I can't be hard on myself. I just know it's there and I know I'll be ready at some point, you know, like I'll keep trying.
I've done similar things because when we were there, you know, you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is get ready and go do some kind of exercise, whether it's hiking or yoga or whatever. Like you could
7
choose,
a.m.
but 7 a.m. you're going hiking or whatever, right? And I got so used to that routine and I felt so good having done it that I was really afraid of losing that when we came home, right? So one of the things I did when we got home was we have like a recumbent bike, like a stationary recumbent bike thing. And it's been sitting in our basement collecting dust, brand new. The water bottle that came with the bike was still wrapped in plastic and on the bike. Like that's how new it was. It's been sitting downstairs for like 2 years. And we got it. We moved it up to the living room and I ride that. I think I've ridden it like 2 or 3 times so far.
That's great. That's awesome.
But it's something, you know?
Yeah.
And we've been taking the dog on walks. Like I get home from work and we'll go take a walk. And it's not a small walk either. Like I'm wanting to go for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he's like huffing and puffing beside me. He's like, "Oh my God, why are we walking so far? What are you doing to me?" And it's like, "Let's go. We've got this."
You're like, have you seen the mountains I walked up on, like in Black Mountain? You would know why I'm going this way.
Yeah, like this is flat land right here. This is fine. But we walked. I was really proud of myself for this one because before we went to the retreat, I'd been in physical therapy for 8 to 12 weeks, somewhere in there, because my knees are messed up, right? I'm 39. I have arthritis in my right knee. Like I'm too young for this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So like they hurt. So I'd been doing that and I was surprised because one day we decided that we were going to walk up to the coffee shop near our house. And it's 1.2 miles away. So we got the dog and we walked up to the coffee shop. I got a small, just like plain black coffee because you can't find a coffee shop that has plant-based milks that don't have oil in it. Go figure.
Crazy.
So we walked up there. We sat and hung out for a little while. Everybody petted Jack because they love him and he's fluffy. And then we walked home and it was 2.5 miles.
And did you say you were sick then too?
Oh yes, I was very sick as well. I had been sick for a couple of days. And then I was like, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
So maybe I should
That's
not have gone
great.
for a walk, but we did it anyway.
But you're here. You still made it. And how do your knees feel?
Fine. Use it or
Good.
lose it.
Yes.
You
And
gotta
that's like,
move them.
yeah. And that was so inspiring. One of the hikes I went on, there was a man part of our trip. He was in his 80s and he takes hikes every day with his wife. Him and his wife were on the hike with us. And he was talking about how he's actually, I believe he's a doctor, but he said how his doctor had suggested that he needs knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And he refuses to get knee surgery because he's just, not ready. And movement is what has prevented him from having to go in on, with a dire knee surgery. I don't know why I can't say knee surgery. I keep saying need.
Because
Whatever.
it's the end of a day on a Friday when we're filming this, and it's been a rough week. I can't.
It's
So
our
I haven't
first
been able
one.
to speak clearly since noon. It's fine.
The blah blah. Huh?
Exactly.
So, but it was inspiring to me because I have really bad ankles. And so to see that, like, someone who's been told he needs knee surgery is so determined to keep the movement going and hopefully, just kind of deal with it if possible. And I think that's key. It's progress, not perfection. He continues to do it, whether he's in pain or not. Maybe just not as long or far as he needs to go. So
Yeah.
it's good.
That's the dedication, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
great.
talk about that next time. Motivation
Yes.
versus dedication.
Yes.
Totally.
Love that. Love that. So,
You're right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like we've spent most of our time talking about the retreat and how awesome it was. So, I mean, that was positive and awesome, right?
I think so. Yeah. The retreat was great. We talked about some of our struggles, some of the things when we got back home. Of course, this progress, not perfection. So that was good. Yeah, we'll see what we talk about next time.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
good.
Well, I guess we'll end it here for today, and we'll see what we talk about next time.
Until next time. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Like and
All right.
subscribe and stuff.
Thanks. Yes. Below.
Or something. However that works.
First timers. All right. Bye.